What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're doing well. So, for starters, I just saw this news about, with less than an hour before I actually started filming this, the New York Jets have fired general manager Joe Douglas. Douglas has been there for 5+ years. He was in the midst of his 6th year. It's been a brutal year for the New York Jets, obviously. They are just 3-8 on the season. They are staring a 15th straight year where they will have missed the playoffs in the face. That is the longest drought in all of the 4 big pro-American sports leagues. He has not made the playoffs, obviously, in his 5+ seasons as the GM of the New York Jets. He is gone. This was just delaying the inevitable. If they had waited to the end of the year, they would have just been delaying the inevitable. Obviously, this won't help them at all on the field. They won't be better or worse, probably. Definitely won't be better. Definitely will be better. I don't know if he can get any worse. Obviously, Janot obviously isn't on the field, but he overall didn't really do a good job. He had a very good draft a couple of years ago. Obviously, got Sauce Gardner in the 4th overall pick. Look, Sauce's first 2 years was a top 3 corner in the game. Has struggled a little bit this year. Jermaine Johnson overall has been good, though he's hurt this year. Breece Hall's been a very good back. So that was a great draft, and he also got Garrett Wilson in that draft as well. So that was a great draft. Other than that, like Fashanu, I think will be very good. Obviously, it's too soon to tell. He whiffed on Mekhi Becton in the 1st round. The left tackle by Louisville completely whiffed on him. And also the Aaron Rodgers thing, just, you give up what? You end up being, 2 second-round picks, and you give everyone a bunch of money. Look, I guess on paper that's not the worst thing to give up for Aaron Rodgers, but at the same time, to not have a backup plan, bringing in a 40-year-old quarterback who was already declining. Yes, at the time, he was still a good player, and looks like the missing piece to a team that just needed the quarterback to be a playoff contender. But does not have a backup plan at all is just pitifully bad. And does taking Zach Wilson 2nd overall as one of the worst draft picks in the history of the NFL. When he came here as a guy, he was in Philadelphia as an assistant general manager. And he says, I'm going to fix the offensive line. He's done a very bad job of doing that, yes. He looks like he may have found something of a shot in the 1st round this past year. John Simpson's been a really good signing. Vera Tucker, when healthy, he's been a good player. Not from a 1st-round pick, but he's had a lot of trouble staying on the field. And Morgan Moses, in both his stints, has not been that great with the New York Jets. George Font's another guy he brought in over the years. He was just okay. Blake Thompson was eh. You may have gotten the steal and Joe Tippmann in the 2nd round last year, but he looks like he's pretty good, but just not good enough. Not good enough. The Hassan Reddick saga, like that was more Hassan Reddick being an asshole, but still, you should have, at the same time, you should have at least try to agree to a contract right when you got there to just, and to trade away John Franklin Myers and let Bryce Huff go to bring in Hassan Reddick was stupid. Very, very stupid. And again, there were some other good things, like DJ Reed was a good signing. But overall, like Braylon Allen, looks like he may have gotten the steal of Braylon Allen. We'll see as his career goes on. So he did some good things, but also did a lot of bad things. His negatives outweigh the positives. Overall, was not a great GM. But he's gone. Just obviously are going to have a new regime coming in. Obviously, you fired Robert Saleh after week 5. Now Joe Douglas, after that loss to the Colts in week 11, is no longer with the New York Jets. He's gone. But moving on, the Rookies of the Year in MLB were named last night. In the American League, it was Lucas Gill, starting pitcher for the New York Yankees. He was named Rookie of the Year. 29 start, went 15-7, 3.5 ERA, 171 strikeouts, 151 2/3 innings. Overall, had a very good season. He wasn't great in the back half of the year. First half of the year was phenomenal. Was a pretty clear Rookie of the Year candidate. Was one of the best pitchers in all baseball for probably the first month or two. After the All-Star break, did struggle a little bit. Overall, had a very good year. He pitched a little bit in the playoffs. Wasn't great, but he did pitch in the postseason. He won the American League Rookie of the Year. I thought it was going to be Colton Cowser. It would end up being Lucas Gill. And last week it was Paul Skeens, of course. In 23 starts, the guy was 11-3 for 1.96 ERA, 170 strikeouts in 133 innings. He was a Cy Young candidate as well this year. The guy was absolutely unbelievable. I saw a stat was like he had the most unbelievable 512-day stretch in sports history. He said he wins the national championship at LSU. He wins the College World Series. Was MVP of the College World Series. He was number 1 overall pick in the draft by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Within less than a year later, gets called up to the big leagues. He was just unbelievably good, especially those first couple of starts. He started the All-Star game as a rookie. Well, ended up being a Cy Young finalist and wins Rookie of the Year in his first year. Just unbelievable. He's going to give me an unbelievable talent for a long time. Still only 22 years old. Obviously, his relationship with supermodel Libby Dunn went wild, so he's winning on and off the field. So he's got everything going for him right now. He's going to be an unbelievable pitcher for a long time, and he wins National League Rookie of the Year. All right, so let's talk Monday Night Football last night. Texans just destroyed the Dallas Cowboys 34-10. That was kind of what we saw coming. Texans, I mean, they're not a great team. They're certainly a good team. They'll definitely win the AFC South. Dallas is not very good. Houston goes to 7-4. Joe Mixon, big game, over 150 total yards and 3 touchdowns in that game. Of course, Nico Collins came back for Houston last night. They're missing the last 4 games with an injury. He comes off injured reserve. Dallas drops to 3-7. Cooper Rush did not look very good. He had that one really bad pick early in the game. He looked really bad. No, this Dallas team, they suck. The Cowboys are irrelevant. Now, Mike McCarthy, I don't think the guy cares anymore. He knows he's getting fired. He's known since the year started. He's a sitting duck. He's always been a sitting duck. That team just looks lifeless. I get it, your starting quarterback is out. You just paid $1 zillion. You shouldn't have, but you did. So you're starting Cooper. You got Cooper Rush out there. You have a really old, couple of really old running backs, and Zeke, who's just cooked. Alvin Cook is, no pun intended, cooked. Rico Dow's not anything special. Deuce Vaughn obviously isn't anything special. CeeDee Lamb's really the only receiver you already got over there. Defensively, you're just not very good. So it's not a lot is going right well for the Dallas Cowboys here. It's been a lot of fun for me to watch. But from the Cowboys' perspective, it's been really ugly. They are now 3-7 on the year. All right, let's take a little look at the NHL standings thus far. Obviously, we are still very early in the season. Teams have only played between 14 and 18 games here, so still a long way to go. But in the Eastern Conference, you got Florida with 23 points, picking up where they left off last year after winning the Cup last year. Carolina with 22. The Devils with 22 points. They're off to a really good start, 10-6-2. Washington Capitals are at 10-4, 20 points. I thought that'd be a lot better. They had a good all-season. They should be a solid team. Obviously, yeah. Ovechkin, he had 2 goals last night. You'd think just 27 shy of Wayne Gretzky's all-time goals record in NHL history. So it's a good chance he might get that this season. Toronto Maple Leafs are at 20 points, 9-5-2. Rangers are at 9-3-1. They're at 19 points and 6. Boston 7-7-2. They haven't looked great. They're really struggling offensively. They've been pretty solid defensively. Obviously, you got to get the contract done with Jeremy Swayman. He's overall played well when he's been in there. Your number 2 goalie, Corporal Sal, hasn't looked great. But offensively, they've looked really, really rough. They are really struggling offensively. Around the 8th spot is Tampa with 15 points. You have the Islanders with 15. They're the first team out right now. Obviously, still a crap ton of games to go. It's very early on in the season. They're dealing with some injuries. You have Buffalo with 15. Ottawa with 14. You have Philly with 14. Pittsburgh with 14. Detroit with 13. Comes with 12. Montreal with 12 as well. This is all that surprising so far. I thought Detroit would be a little better. They're 6-7-1. That's a team that's got a lot of talent offensively. They've got a lot of young talent over there. A couple of years now, I thought they could possibly end their playoff run and sneak into the playoffs. Hasn't happened yet. I thought Ottawa, I did think they have a shot getting into the playoffs. I'm not super surprised they're near 7-7. They're a team with a lot of young talent. We all knew Columbus was going to be bad. We all knew Montreal was going to be bad. Philadelphia, the Flyers are just bad. I could see them being even worse. Buffalo's been pretty competitive. Pittsburgh, that team is just ancient. It's not surprised they are where they are. But Devils definitely surprised me. They're definitely better. Obviously, you get a huge upgrade in goal, bring in Jacob Markstrom. But I didn't think it would be this good. They're off to a great start. I thought Boston would be a little better. Their additions haven't been as impactful as we thought. Obviously, you brought in Elias Lindholm to help them offensively. You helped you move Pavel Zacha back to wing. You brought in Nikita Zadorov defensively, though he has helped pretty much, but clearly there should have been one more addition offensively because they are struggling offensively. But that's what we got in the Eastern Conference. In the Western Conference, Winnipeg Jets are 14-1 this year, 28 points, best team in the National Hockey League. Minnesota is in second with 23. Kings in third with 21. Vegas is in fourth with 20 points. Calgary's in fifth with 19 points. Dallas in sixth with 18. Vancouver in seventh with 17. Colorado in eighth with 16. Edmonton's actually the first team out right now with 15. You have Utah 15, St. Louis with 14, Seattle with 13 points, Chicago with 13, San Jose with 13, Anaheim with 12, Nashville with 12. So, East is somewhat status quo. I mentioned New Jersey's been a lot better than I thought. Boston is off to a slow start. Other than that, pretty much about what kind of we're probably going to see in the end of the year. West, holy moly, I think West has been backwards. Winnipeg winning 14 of their first 15. Connor Hellebuyck has been absolutely sensational in goal for the Winnipeg Jets. They've just been flying all over the place. Minnesota's come out of nowhere. They've been phenomenal this year. The Kings have been better than I thought. Calgary, I don't think will be very good. They're another team with a lot of young talent. After you trade away your goal in the offseason, I thought that would hurt them more than it has. But they've come out of nowhere and just been unbelievable. Not unbelievable. They've been very good. Other than that, the only other big surprise has been Nashville. Wow, 5-9-2. They are tied for the least amount of points in the entire league, and tied for the worst record in all of the National Hockey League. This team that was in the playoffs last year, lost in the first round, didn't get all that close in that series either. But you had Jonathan Marchand, Steven Stamkos, and Brady Shea. Shea's, to me, is overrated. They overpaid it, but Marshall's a stud. And Stamkos is still an incredible player as well. I thought that would be a team that's definitely improved. Easily could be a top 5 team in the West for sure. And they've been brutal so far. So that's been a big surprise that they have been this bad. Utah's nice to see them be competitive. I thought they'd be somewhat competitive, even more competitive than I thought. That team's got a lot of young talent. Probably not ready yet, but they're very fast, if nothing else. Like I said, obviously Winnipeg's come out of nowhere. Minnesota's been a big surprise. The Kings to me have been a little better than I thought. Calgary's been a big surprise. Colorado, I think they'd start off pretty mediocre. They've got so many key pieces out, obviously. They've had that for a while. So, but a lot of pieces are out for Colorado. I think they will get hot once they get some of these pieces back, but I think they will at some point. But for now, I'm not surprised they're a mediocre hockey team. But that's the NHL rundown so far. Let's talk about the NBA standings so far. Of course, NBA season is also very early on. First place is the Cleveland Cavaliers, 15-0. Big game tonight against the Boston Celtics, but they are 15-0. Wow, I did not see that coming. That's just been absolutely insane. 15-0, I was not on my bingo card. I wasn't even that high. I think I had them as like a first-round exit this year. 15-0, wow. That's crazy. You have Boston in second, 11-3. You have Orlando at 9-6. I mean, the East is pretty weak. I mean, there's only 4 teams over 500 right now. Orlando looks good. They're hot. They've won 6 in a row. Remember, they're down Paolo Banchero, too. They're star players. So kudos to the Orlando Magic. A lot of young talent over there. Jamal Murray's doing a really good job. Knicks were 8-6. Starting to play a little better. Summer gel a little bit more. Brunson starting to get going a little bit more. Carl Towns has been great, at least offensively. You have Atlanta at 7-8. Miami at 6-7. Detroit 7-9. Detroit, I mean, they didn't get 7 wins till February last year. They already have 7 wins through 16 games this year. So they've been a lot more competitive than they have been in past years. Indiana's at 6-8. Chicago at 6-9. Charlotte at 5-8. And the bottom 5 is Brooklyn at 5-9. Milwaukee at 5-9. Toronto at 3-12. Washington at 2-11. And Philadelphia at 2-11. God, the Sixers has been bad. That's what happens when your star player Joel Embiid doesn't want to show up. And a big report actually just broke that Tyrese Maxey called out Joel Embiid, saying apparently Embiid's been late to everything. He says that he called him out he said he should show up to meetings and team activities on time more. So big. So not going well in Philly. They've lost obviously 11 of the first 13, including 9 of the last 10. Obviously, Joel Embiid's only put a couple of games this year. He's not playing back-to-backs for whatever reason. Paul George's missed a lot of time this year. That's that's not gonna end well in Philadelphia. That's just not. I had them, I think, losing in the first and second round this year. They're That's not gonna end well. Obviously, Toronto. I had them being a playing team. They've been slightly worse than I thought. They're also down Scotty Barnes, who's probably your best player, so that doesn't help either. I think Mano Quickly's also out, so you got some injuries right now. Indiana, I thought would be a little better. They're off to a slow start. They're at 6-8. Other than that, I mean, look, Atlanta 7-8 isn't that far off from what I thought they would be. You know, my surprise they were the fifth seed, yeah, but it's just more because of the East. Like Philadelphia, I'm sure will at least get a little bit better. Same thing with Indiana. But overall, not a ton of surprises out Boston besides Cleveland, who's just 15, and that was crazy. In the Western Conference, Oklahoma City's in first place at 11-3, and you got Golden State at 10-3, Lakers at 9-4, Houston's at 10-5, Phoenix at 9-6, Denver at 7-5. That's the first six. The next four is Memphis at 8-6, Minnesota at 8-6, Clippers at 8-7, Sacramento at 8-7, and bottom five is Dallas at 7-7, San Antonio at 6-8, Portland at 6-8, New Orleans at 4-10, Utah at 3-10. Obviously, the West is a lot more deep than the East. The first team out of the play-in right now is Dallas. If they were in the Eastern Conference, they would be the 5 seed. Right now, they're the 11th seed in the West. So obviously, again, very early. Golden State, they've come out to a phenomenal start. No, they've been a lot better defensively than we thought. I had this conversation last week with Nick. Of course, he's a Warriors fan. They've been a lot better than expected. They've had a bunch of these guys are stepping up. They've been a lot better defensively. So that's definitely helped. Lakers are off to a good start. Anthony Davis has just been mashing. He's been playing really, really well. Houston's been really good. It's a team with a lot of young talent. Kind of waiting for them to take the next step. Maybe this is it. Phoenix, they've lost their last four after a really good start. And look, that's not that great of a team. That team is horrible defensively. At least on paper, no depth. We all know the story with them. Then the rest of it, pretty much status quo. Minnesota, Randall's starting to play a little bit better over there. Dante is still struggling, but Randall's starting to look a little bit better over there. Other than that, I've been surprised the Pelicans are this bad. I know they got some guys out. That team cannot stay freaking healthy. Look, they need a big man desperately after you lose Jonas Valanciunas to really bring anybody to replace him. But you look at the core they have. Obviously Zion, if he's healthy, he's obviously a great player. Not sure if what we thought, but at least is a guy that will give you 25 and 10 every night. If nothing else, you have him. You got CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram. That's a really good basketball team. Jose Alvarado. Now you bring in Dejounte Murray. That's a really good team. But again, the injury bug is biting them once again. And they're off to a really bad start. They're just 4-10. And then, rest of it. Dallas. Look, Dallas is a one-man show, two-man show. They need to be a little bit deeper. Could probably be a little bit better defensively. Obviously, we're in the finals last year. A lot of people think they're going to go back. I never really saw it, to be honest, but they're at 7-7. But that's the NBA standings. Moving on, let's do a little NFL standings check right now. This is what we got in the playoff picture for the NFL. I may do a power rankings as well this week, so keep your eyes on that. The AFC Chiefs are the 1 seed right now at 9-1. Chiefs, they were using black magic for a while. Of course, they finally had their first loss. Holmes hadn't had his best year by any means. I think he's at something like 13 touchdowns against like 9 or 10 picks this year. Obviously, you've had a bunch of injuries. Isaiah Pacheco, your top back, he's a very good player. He's been out for a while, though. He may be coming back this week against Carolina. Hollywood Brown, you lose probably for the season before the year even starts. You lose Rashee Rice, who's off to a great start in week 4. You've had a lot of guys out. Of course, he ended up making the move for DeAndre Hopkins, which has helped. You brought back Kareem Hunt off the street. He's played well. That defense has been pretty good. You're sitting on 9-1 still. Bills are a 2 seed at 9-2. They've been really good, really good. They've won 6 in a row. Josh Allen might be the MVP favorite right now. He's been phenomenal this year. Maybe the best year of his career. James Cook has played really well. A lot of those receivers are stepping up. Obviously, you bring in Amari Cooper. You got him healthy now. Defensively, early on, that second was really struggling. They looked a lot better in recent weeks. That's been big for them. Pittsburgh Steelers 8-2. I don't know how they've pulled that off. I don't get it. It's beyond me how they're 8-2. Insane. They've won 5 in a row. Flipping back and forth between Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, the quarterback. And Najee Harris has overall had a pretty good year. Pickens has been great, but that defense is phenomenal. And obviously Mike Tomlin's a great coach, but that defense is absolutely insanely good. They have 2 games where they won 5 or 6 field goals and then no touchdowns. It was week 1 against Atlanta. They had 6 field goals, no touchdowns. They won 18-10. And same thing this week. He had 6 field goals and no touchdowns. He won 18-6 over the Ravens. Crazy how they keep doing that. Texans 7-4. Going into the year, I thought, okay, this is a team. This is kind of what I thought. I thought they would be a team that would be a very good team. They would win their divisions because the rest of the division isn't all that great. But, whenever you have a young team like that, now you put a bunch of expectations on them. And sometimes that first year they don't exactly take the big jump that we think. Kind of what's happening, but they're still a good team. Stradaway hasn't had taken the jump we thought. We did play well against Dallas for the most part last night, besides the 1 turnover he had. So, but obviously now you got Nico Collins back. Stephon Diggs out for the year, but you got Collins back. Yeah, mix him. That defense is pretty solid. Problem is the offensive line is just really banged up. With Kenyon Green's out for the year. Yeah, a bunch of injuries is struggling. So, Texans 7-4. 3 wild cards. First wild card is the Chargers at 7-3. Jim Harbaugh. He should definitely be up for be coach of the year candidate. Herbert. A little bit of a slow start, but he's been playing really well lately. That defense is phenomenal. They have the best scoring defense in the league, allowing just 13 points a game this year. That's a really good defense. Completely turned around since Harbaugh took over. He brought in Jesse Minter as defensive coordinator, brought him with him from Michigan. That was a great move. Ravens have a second locker at 7-4. Look, they're a good team. I'm not sure if they're great. Lamar's been phenomenal again. He's once again an MVP finalist again this year. It's gonna be either him or Josh Allen, at least right now. Derrick Henry. What else can you say about that guy? The guy is still great. Still one of the best backs in the league. Right now, he is the best back in the league to me. People trying to say he was going to be washed. I was like, I don't know. He's washed. He had 1,100 yards behind a brutal Titans offensive line. Then he goes to a much better offense with the Ravens. I don't know. That bodes pretty well for him. And it did. Dude, he's still the king. Problem is that defense has struggled this year. It's very not like John Harbaugh team. Defense has definitely struggled. Especially that secondary. Good lord, it's bad. So that's definitely a concern. And they've blown a couple of games this year. Obviously, the game against the Raiders you blew. You almost blew the game against Dallas. There's been a couple times that's happened. Obviously, tough loss to Pittsburgh this past week. You don't get a 2-point conversion there. John Harbaugh, I don't know what it is. John Harbaugh on 2-point conversion, the plays that he runs are just brutal. He does that a lot. I don't know why. Obviously, at least in this time, you were forced to go for 2. I mean, left in the game down by 2, obviously. But God, he's got to do a little better job with that. The last team that went out was the Denver Broncos. Wow. 6-5. Bo Nix is playing his ass off. He's making a run for his money for the Offensive Rookie of the Year, making a run at Jaden Daniels. They've been a lot better than expected. Courtland Sutton's been playing well. That defense has been really good. Really, really good. Obviously, Patrick Surtain's a stud. Riley Moss has stepped up in that secondary, so that defense has been phenomenal. The Colts are already a game out. How the Colts are a game out with the whole saga of Anthony Richardson and Joe Flacco and just the rest of the team not being that good? That's crazy. Like, they're not good defensively. I don't know how they're going to game out. Then you have Miami at 4-6. They haven't been very good. Bengals 4-7. They cannot stop anybody to save their life. Same. Joe Burrow's got over 3,000 passing yards, 27 touchdowns against 4 picks, and they're 4-7. Wow. Jets are 3-8. Well, what do you want me to say about the Jets? They are just brutal. Patriots also 3-8. Kind of knows what's going to happen. Obviously, Drake May is now the starter as a rookie. Browns 2-8. Yikes. Offensive line is depleted. If you trade away Amari Cooper, your best receiver. Chubb hasn't looked great since coming back. Jameis Winston's not your quarterback. Obviously, they've been brutal. Titans are 2-8. That offense is atrocious. Will Levis is really bad. The Raiders are 2-8. Wow, there's a lot of bad teams. Raiders are 2-8. That team is just lost. They've already made some changes to their staff. They've got a quarterback carousel. It's not working out. Yikers, that team is bad. Jaguars are 2-9. How in the hell have Doug Pearson and Trent Baalke not been fired? The coach and the GM there. I don't understand. Look, Trevor Lawrence is overrated. You overpaid him. The roster overall isn't great. ETN's a good back, but not a great back. I like Brian Thomas, but Christian Kirk is hurt. Now Gabe Davis is out for the year. England's a pretty good tight end. But that defense is horrid. Absolutely horrid. The roster is not very good. 2-9. They are the worst team in football right now. Going to the NFC, Lions 9-1. Wow. Won 8 in a row. That team, they're the best team in the league right now. There's no other way to say it. Yeah, the Eagles are 2 seed 8-2. They've won 6 straight games. They haven't played any very good teams. We'll see if their schedule gets a little hard down the stretch how they handle that. Arizona's the 3 seed 6-4. Not on my bingo card. They've been very good this year. The Arizona Cardinals. Kyler, who's been inconsistent throughout the year, kind of like he always is, but lately he's been playing well. The defense has stepped up a lot. Obviously, the addition of Marvin Harrison Jr. has done wonders. Falcons at 6-5. Been up and down. Definitely been hit or miss for sure. I mean, look, they're a decent team. Obviously 6 games a year. You get Carolina, New Orleans, and Tampa. You think, all right, you're going to win 4 or 5 of those games, and then you're going to got to go 5. If you go 4-2 in the division, that means you got to go 5-6 the rest of the way to win that division. It's not hard to do. They're not that great of a team, but defensively they're not great. Comes a good, not great quarterback. You guys all know the deal. The 3 wild cards. First wild card is the Vikings at 8-2. Of course, they're only a game out of their own division. Sam Darnold been struggling lately, but overall had obviously had a much better year than in past years. Obviously, got a lot of talent offensively. They have been a lot better defensively than we all thought. They've been one of the biggest surprises here. Another NFC New York team, the Green Bay Packers, are at 7-3. Drew Love is banged up, so he hasn't been quite himself, but overall they've played well. Defense has been a lot better. They got a lot of weapons over there. So they're the second wild card. The last team right now is the Washington Commanders. Last 2 games that have not looked good. Dan Daniels has struggled. Overall, he's had a great year. To me, still the offensive rookie of the year. He's been great overall this year. They've been a lot better defensively than I thought. Dan Quinn, I don't like his head coach, but he's done a good job so far. And then that might be the top 7 because you have the Rams are 2 games out, but they've been playing better. Seattle's 2 games out. They've struggled since they've lost 5 of the last 7. They'll pick up the big win over Niners. The San Francisco 49ers, obviously only game out of their own division, like Seattle and the Rams are, but they got to be careful. If they miss the playoffs, they're going to have to completely blow that thing up. That's going to be messy. And the Bears, just, good Lord. Caleb's looked horrible. Matt Eberflus is so bad. He's never won a road game on Sunday. Wow, that guy is bad. Holy hell. He is absolutely atrocious. He is a bonehead. I don't know how that guy still has a job. Saints 4-7. We don't want to deal with them. Old, overpaid. Not that good. They've obviously already fired their coach. Carolina 3-7. How about teams won 2 games in a row? I don't know. They haven't played the Chiefs on Thursday. That's not going to bode very well. Bryce Young's looked a little bit better since they put him back in there, but still not great. They're terrible defensively, especially against the run. Good Lord, they cannot stop the run. They're a mess. Dallas 3-7. Yikes. Dak is injured. They can't run the ball. They can't stop anybody. God, they're bad. And the Giants 2-8. The Giants have benched Daniel Jones in favor of Tommy DeVito. Of course, Tommy DeVito is the undrafted free agent. Last year, he started 6 games last year. First 2 games played pretty well. Then he kind of fizzled out. Obviously, the whole Tommy Collins thing went kind of viral. Look, Drew Lock. Look, he's a fine backup. He's not a starter in this league. He's not a long-term answer. I don't think DeVito is either. But he's still young. He's a fun player. Let's take a look at him. Apparently, Daboll's coaching for his job. Look, Daboll's had some questionable play calling over the last 2 years. He's had some questionable decision-making as well. Especially in that one game where he didn't carry a second kicker. That cost him the game. Also, he's got Daniel Jones as quarterback, and I get, some doesn't, get along with some of the players sometimes. But give him a legit quarterback and a legit offense, please. Give this guy a chance. We'll see if he's really bad down the stretch. I could see. All right, now we can have a conversation, but for now, I'm not there yet. But Daniel Jones, wow, 0-star recruit coming out of high school, committed to Duke football. Duke for football. He was at best a mediocre quarterback in college at Duke. And somehow the guy was the 6th pick in the draft, was a starting quarterback for 6 years in the NFL, and got paid $160 million on his second contract. I don't understand. At all. His agent needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Wow. what a failed experiment Daniel Jones was. So, yeah, I know a lot of players say like he's a hard worker. He goes about his business well. I'm sure he's a nice guy. If he's dating your daughter, I'm sure you'd be as a mother or father, you'd be very okay with that. But as a football player, the guy just isn't good. He's definitely going to be cut after the year. The experiment is over. All right, that's NFL standings. That's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.